Hello all. Here is my November report. November is a month for writing. There's a thing called NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, that is a 30-day challenge where people try to write 50,000 words in November. I first did it in 2012 and I did it again last year. It was because I won last year that I didn't want to just do it again. I'm still redrafting last year's novel, and I didn't want to start a new one that would be in competition with it. I didn't want to just pass by on the juices of November, though, so I set myself a different challenge. 30,000 words of short stories, with the additional twist that I had to either start or finish a story every day. So that's what I did last month, and I met my goal. I started 17 stories and I finished 13 of them. The finished stories clock in at a little over 30,000 words, and I enjoyed the challenge of it. In a normal nano, you are working in just one genre with one group of characters. Writing short stories doesn't give you the same depth, but you're constantly hopping between different genres, different styles and tones, and having to come up with new characters and plots every other day. It makes for a very different sort of challenge, and I liked it. In the new year, once I've got a little distance, I'll go back to these short stories, tighten them up, and see what I think of them from that perspective. There are early drafts of some of them up on thatandydavisfellow.com, so feel free to take a look. In the meantime, I'm not stopping writing. Simone and I are still doing our him and her indoors videos. She did one a few weeks ago called 100 Pots, which was about the idea that the way to get better at something is to do a lot of it. Inspired by this and by the nano challenge that I just enjoyed, I'm setting myself another target. I'm going to carry on writing short stories, but only one or two a week, not every day. Between the beginning of November this year and the beginning of November next year, I want to do 100 plots, 100 short stories, starting with the 13 that I did last month, between now and next November. What with the writing and the snowing and the flooding, we didn't travel much last month. My only notable excursion was to a school reunion. This gave me an excuse for a day in London and a chance to catch up with old friends and colleagues, which was lovely. Amidst all the writing, I did find time to read one new book last month, which was Speed of Dark by Elizabeth Moon. This is near-future science fiction, so it's set in a world very similar to our own, but with a few more medical advances. Lou, the protagonist, is an autistic man working alongside other autistics, using their talents at pattern recognition to do work that neurotypical people would struggle with. To begin with, the plot of the book revolves around the politics and tensions within the different groups that Lou is a part of. Once we've had a chance to get to know our cast of players, we then get to see the impact on those people of the arrival of an untested and experimental new treatment to potentially cure autism, or at least reduce its impact. Moon does a good job of playing out the tensions between those who decide they want that treatment and those that don't, showing us the different pressures that they feel and leaving the reader space to sit with that complexity without any sense of either side necessarily being right or wrong. It ends up not being a story about disability, but rather an examination of how any human being deals with the possibility of change and balances what they might gain against what they might lose. It was a fascinating story by a very talented author, and I really liked it. And that's it for this time. See you next month. All best wishes for the holidays to come. I love you all. Stay well.